What did your crush do that absolutely killed your interest? This was in college. We were acquaintances and had a few classes together. He was cute, funny, and I totally had a crush on him. He asked me out to dinner and a movie. At the restaurant he ordered the most expensive things on the menu. Apps, drinks, lobster, and even dessert. When the bill came he said, "You got this, right?" I was so embarrassed I paid. Then I said I'd skip the movie because I wasn't feeling well, and he asked me to give him $20 for gas and for wasting his time. I didn't and just left. Ugh. After that he couldn't seem to understand why I didn't want to go out with him again. I was giving her a place to sleep when she was feuding with her mother. After weeks of picking up after her, I dared to complain. She had a screaming fit, packed up her crap and left. I was glad to be rid of her until later it got around to me that she was telling people on FB that I kicked her out for refusing to give me a blowjob. There is a lot I can forgive, but that was the first time I had ever had anyone just straight up make stuff up about me. Fuck you, eh? Huh, why are you leaving a tip? Me, because the service was really good. Huh, but she's fat. Bragged about drinking and driving. He told me that he and his friends have a nothing under 100 club where they drink and then drive on the interstate going 100+ miles per hour and have to send a full-length Snapchat video of the speedometer to each other. 2 of my friends had been killed by a drunk driver 3 months prior. Revealed his list of conquests. Not even my brother knows how many women I've slept with. Then he offered to take my virginity in the back of his pickup truck. I passed. I'm black, she's black, our crush was mutual. Then she found out that I was once in a relationship with a white woman. She then jumped down a rabbit's hole of my betrayal of the black family and some other nonsense of my trauma of self-hatred. Never been turned off by anything faster than that. He talked about how he and his friends used to abuse farm cats. They talked about one that was buried and then run over. I did a quick 180 and absolutely hated him. Edit. Little late now, but thank you everyone for the upvotes. Unfortunately I only heard about the abuse when he was talking to someone else, and it wasn't a recent thing. Think high school, and at this point he was a few years into college. I also live in Farmtown, USA, so this really isn't an uncommon thing, and I doubt the cops would do anything. I'm glad to see so many caring people on here, though. Cats don't get as much love in my community as they should. Our 3 are here living in spoiled royalty, and my dad hates it. Close bracket. She asked if things didn't work out, if I would mind if she went out with my roommate. I said I couldn't possibly do that to him and left. He tried to discreetly take photos of my feet. Nothing against people who are into that, but the way he was going about it was super creepy. She asked me if I was good with kids because she was pregnant with her ex and that she's not good with kids. It was the first date. We were teenagers. He lived in a different province and we used to chat on Skype. He wanted me to think he was a badass or something and would always talk about his drug use. He ended up faking a heroin overdose when we were on chat together. I was hysterically crying and freaking out thinking I was watching someone dying and was trying to figure out how to call 911 in another province when he snapped out of it and told me he was actually okay. I didn't talk to him much after that. She said I smile too much. Fuck you, I smile when I want to. I try to find joy. Kept arranging times to talk and whatnot, then always forgot or was not available. Bullied the quiet kid in our class. Turned out to be the person eating everyone else's food from the break room fridge. His sister actually approached me and let me know that he was once arrested for locking their other pregnant sister in their basement, went on a coke binge while she desperately tried to get out, and went outside to beat their unsuspecting neighbor's van with a golf club. That was a big ol' nope. Kissed me and then, after he pulled away, told me he has a girlfriend. Yee, I don't get washing. I just don't really like taking a shower or a bath or anything. Placed the tip on the table before we'd received service, before using it as a threat. Real ugly. Had a crush on this girl back in high school. She seemed like a sweet girl. After she rejected me, I let it go, but still was interested in maintaining some sort of friendship. Found out she was actually pretty toxic behind my back. She made fun of me for a lot of things that really didn't matter, like hand motions while talking, and I just lost interest in her entirely, even in a friendship. This was years ago, on a first date. Tried to convince me to quit my job and put all my savings into gold bars, then demanded I let him read my tarot cards to see if we'd be a good fit. Nope. Huge crush on a fellow uni student. I was invited over for what I expected to be a platonic study date, but hey, any time spent is better than just being alone, or so I thought. Got there and found another student from class also. Okay, study group. Turns out her mom and her set us up for a full press MLM pitch. Video, literature, the works. I stayed a bit not to be rude, excused myself shortly, and only talked to her in class, just in passing from then on. Huge letdown. Edit, MLM means multi-level marketing, aka pyramid scheme. Signing up to both buy and sell something, while recruiting others to sell also. You get a percent of all of your recruits' sales also. All the percentages basically flow upward, so the only way to make any significant money is to be high in the tree, towards the top of the pyramid. It's all bullshit, basically. Told me he was only being nice to me because he was interested in a friend of mine. I see his Facebook posts now. He is dumber than a box of rocks on a treadmill. Talked non-stop about himself and his accomplishments, and never asked me one question about myself. She slept with my dad. She got blackout drunk at a party and violently shat her pants. The smell alone completely turned me off of any interest I had. Littered. When I was a teenager we worked together as lifeguards. I adored him so much until one day he just starts talking about this random woman that he didn't know and wasn't even there that was wearing shorts. He said he was fine until she sat down and had some cellulite on her thighs, and he kept being angry and talking about how she should be doing squats to be more appealing. Like, his rant was angry and long and no one was adding to his conversation. Just silence. After that I took off my rose-colored glasses and saw that he was, in fact, a huge douchebag. I'm kinda grateful he showed himself that way, cause I was really into him until then. Could have been a bad time for my teenage brain. Blamed the world for all his problems. Nothing was ever his fault. We worked together, and as I got to know him more I learned he talked badly about everyone. Nurses that are amazing he'd belittle. Talk about how certain people don't know what they're doing because they asked for an ultrasound forth as they were struggling getting a vein on a heroin addict. The paramedics were worthless. Doctors don't know what they're doing. Who he thought was hooking up, and it completely turned me off. He's in his early 40s and into gossip more than my teenage daughter. He picked me up for our first date and his car was disgusting. Not talking a few trash items, the entire backseat and floorboard was completely covered in piled up trash, even up front. I had to step on empty McDonald's bags, old soda bottles, wrappers etc. to even get in. And all he said was, just move it around with your feet. No sorry or anything. Made me feel like trash too. Like dang, couldn't even clean up a little? Dumped me after 9 months because she wasn't ready for a serious relationship. Got into a relationship the next day and was married within 5 months. Told me that she didn't like me back anymore, but maybe if I waited long enough she would like me like that again. Edit, she told me that I had gotten more critical lately and I changed. So she wanted me to change back before she would be with me. Too critical about every word I uttered under the name of sarcasm. Light the back fence of the school on fire to impress a mate. Edit. Should add that he did it whilst high. Weed is not legal here in Australia yet. Basically shut me down and made it clear to me that I was being the typical nice guy cliche. This is back when I was about 20. After a couple of days of sulking, I started examining my behavior and realized she was absolutely right. Glad it happened. My ideas of how a relationship should work were entirely twisted at the time. I got my shit together shortly after, addressed my stupid and entitled behavior, worked on myself, mentally and physically, and eventually met an amazing woman who is now my wife. Scary to look back and think how close I got to becoming one of those incel neckbed types. Told me he shot at turtles and 3 cats for fun. Edit. Through not 3. I'll kiss you, but I'd never date you. FKU. Told me he liked dating broken girls, so he could fix them. See ya later, boner. Talked shit about every woman in his life. Should have seen the red flags earlier, didn't realize until later that he probably did the same to me. Apparently having an opinion about anything and speaking for yourself isn't a very ladylike thing to do.